this is like a complete different topic, but
Yeah.
what's kind of just the way that you speak? I mean, like, did you learn a lot from working with Teal, or
I've
what have you learned from him?
I've learned a lot from him, like an absurd amount. I think he has a million superpowers. I'd say like maybe the two best superpowers are like attracting incredible people. That would maybe be number one. Number two is, and he's called it a look ahead function, which is a funny way of putting it, but his ability to like evaluate a project and see into the future of like, is this going to work or is it not going to work based on like its current elements is Nostradamus-esque. It's freaky. And I am not, I'm good at the first thing. I attract great people. I really am not amazing at the like the look ahead function thing. And, and he's made me much, much better at it. And I think now I'm very good at the look ahead function when it comes to other startups, because that's the job of venture capital. But increasingly I'm becoming better about it with my own life, which I feel like I in many ways, like the amount of like URLs I have like lying out there, like in my name, because I like tried to start some, stupid company like selling like single bladed razors or whatever.
Yeah, I have
Like I like
hundreds of URLs. Yeah,
right, right,
yeah,
and like I needed to some extent, I think guardrails, which Peter I think was helpful in sort of the self assessment stuff, and telling me, no, I think you should spend your time here and not here. And then, yeah, I mean, just through osmosis too. He gave me also a model. I came up in Silicon Valley because I'm an old geezer. I'm like you, and it came up like it's like 2014, so I'm not that old. Was when I moved there, and it had a long history before that. Maybe that was even the beginning of the end. But the ethos in Silicon Valley was at the time very like Tim Ferriss, like, it was like optimize your life. And I didn't really I thought like intellectual life was like a waste of time. And like even in college, like, I went to Columbia and there's like core curriculum and like I spark notes a lot of it. And I thought a lot of it was sort of a waste of time. And while I was at Google, I just felt like I had to optimize my life and like make money and like look good and be healthy or whatever, and like, and then you're in and have the right people around, and then you're good. And I've totally forgot about reading and engaging in ideas. And Peter gave me the mimetic model of like, you can be super ambitious, like, and try to make money and have influence. And you can be this like philosopher person who's just like thinking about like how the world works.
mhm,
And that those two things can actually cross lever in like really unique, interesting ways. And I had never met anybody. It was always like these super ambitious kind of optimizy types who were really conventional, or it was like you're this erudite philosopher stuck in an ivory tower who like has no impact on anything.
yeah, yeah.
And so that marriage of kind of archetypes in one person was like mind blowing to me.
That's so funny because I never would have. I mean, the way that you present yourself now is you totally come off as like you read the philosophy, like you care about that stuff. It's interesting to hear you say that you used to just not care about it, and then
Oh,
Peter
dude,
like
yeah.
reinstilled. Do you think Peter's like care of philosophy, like how much he cares about philosophy, do you think that helps him with the look ahead function, or what do you think kind of helps him there, or like how did he help you with that?
Oh man. I think a lot of it was through osmosis. It was like seeing him, he would look at a project and it was like, okay, like, too many co-founders and like the roles are overlapping too much, or like it was, there, I'm gonna botch these examples, but it was like you just see your pattern matching. It's like machine learning, garbage in, garbage
Yeah,
out, and your pattern matching just gets way better. Like the more like better decisions you see made, and you see him like looking at stuff, and he's like, okay, here's a good one. He's like payments. He always heuristic is like payments always work, and it was like and it's like Stripe is an amazing stock. Before that, PayPal was an amazing stock, keeps going up. Before that, Western Union, was an or no, it was like Visa and Mastercard. I skipped over that. Great stocks, keep going up. And then Western Union, like maybe still a good stock to this day,
yeah,
or like finally maybe that's plateauing or something.
yeah.
And so like that's just like one fun example, but you just I really I like hitchhiked my way into level of pattern matching that was like way beyond me. And like I'm still learning every day. Like he's just like way light years ahead of me.
Yeah,
And but seeing him make the decisions in real time just is priceless.
that's
Yeah. And he's
fascinating.
just yeah.
I wish you could make content like watching him do that. I think that would be
Yeah.
just because it's super hard for you to describe it, right? But
I
like,
know.
but obviously, and that's something that really frustrates me is like a lot of the best content I think can't be shown because like so like that content, if
Yeah.
you were talking about Teal talking about something, I mean, like it's a private company, like they're building something, can't
Yeah.
really talk about it publicly, like, and that really bums me out about a lot of things because like they just won't tell you their secret, you know, or whatever, and that's the interesting part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't no, I know. I think about that too, like, could you film, like well, here's an interesting idea. You invest in a company, then you have a strategy session with the company, and it's this super prescient thing where you come up with all these great tactics for, like, building it up in
Mhm.
the future, and then it's like a time-stamped time capsule or something, and in 2 years, you come back to that video and you look at this like really cool strategic conversation. Maybe you film all your strategic conversations and then you have this cool time capsule. And I think that that would be an interesting experiment for like a VC if they're super high trust with their founders and like actually in sort of the
Yeah.
trenches, so to
Dude,
speak, with them.
at one point, I was thinking that I should record my pitches and then, you know, in like 5 years or something, like, release those. Like,
That'd be
I
awesome.
was thinking that'd be really good content.
It'd be great it's like real life
Yeah.
Shark Tank for
Yeah.
venture.
Yeah. But
Super cool.
that's why Shark Tank has terrible or like, you know, whatever companies, not terrible, but just like consumer product companies because like they have a patent on it or whatever,
Right.
because they're not revealing secrets. They're getting promotion for their company. But like
Totally.
there's no way that a Regent would go on Shark Tank. You know, I don't know, they're giving away too much, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I totally
And
agree. And
that's
I think
something we're both trying to solve, I think.
I know. Totally. And I think if I have a one criticism of startups today, it's that they go public too quickly. Not public IPO, but like they hit TechCrunch a little too fast. And
Mhm,
like if that's not like adaptive from like a recruiting or fundraising standpoint, like don't do it. You should,
mhm, mhm.
you should only do it when you hit
Because
escape velocity.
'cause you think it brings in competition.
A few things. I think it it creates a catharsis. There are, like, studies that show that, like, it creates a catharsis that tricks your brain into thinking that it's done something, and so I think there's this, like, false sense of confidence and success that comes from press that, like, it becomes a big distraction, you get addicted to it, and then you also, like, think you've done something, and you end up on these, like, Forbes lists or whatever, and you're just and then you
You're just on a
start
Forbes list.
speaking on a tour yeah,
Yeah.
and you haven't done the thing never got built, so I think it's that, and then I totally think you're sending flare signals left and right to competition that, you know, they're not signaling focused, they just wanna build,
Mhm.
so
The counter is that, like, okay, if you have something actually really great that nobody can replicate, then it doesn't matter if you go public, like, because nobody will copy it. Like, Elon
yeah,
was just being like, "Look, I'm gonna build rockets, and I'm gonna build electric cars," and everybody was like, "You're crazy," and he just did it, and anybody could have built Tesla, like, I mean, you know, not anybody, but, like, seeing it in 2008, like,
yeah,
he wrote his master plan, he was like, "Look, guys, this is what I'm gonna do,"
yeah,
but nobody else nobody did it. I think just I guess the unique thing there is that it didn't create catharsis because like even
yeah,
today like a few weeks ago or maybe a few months ago it was during Thanksgiving when people wanted to take time off for Thanksgiving and he wrote an email telling the employees he was like look Raptor production for the Starship like is just not up to par like we can't take a day off like if we don't figure this out the company dies and it's like
yeah,
are
yeah, it's amazing,
are they gonna die?
yeah,
Maybe, but,
yeah,
probably not,
yeah,
but, like, he was also like, "Guys, we won't be able to get funding," or, whatever it was, he just will not rest on his heels, and that's just
he's
super rare.
amazing, he's
Yeah.
amazing, and he's a case where it is super adaptive also because the liquidity that, like, his super fans have bought him in the public markets and private market is just, eh, immeasurable. I mean, clearly, like, the multiples being slapped on everything that he's doing are so absurd, but they're not absurd because it's him. And he told that story just so well that, it's given him all sorts of dry powder to actually execute on the things that he wants to do.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I mean, I can't say it. He's a freak. I'm grateful he exists, and he's the best entrepreneur maybe ever, and then the best marketer ever too. He's just like the best in so many categories.
Well, it's insane because, like, how many other people could you talk about and make, like, a career out of it? But, like, there's so many people on Twitter, YouTube, like, just following his every move and making a career out of it, and, like, making money from talking about the things that he does, and, like, that in itself is, like, a fascinating ecosystem. Like, people are literally like, I mean, even me, like, I told you that my first video as on TikTok was recapping Elon's Starship thing, and, like, it's just insane how many careers, yeah, how much money he's made people that aren't even, like, working for Tesla or SpaceX or even invested in the stock.
It's
Like, that's the
amazing.
interesting part to me.
I fully agree. Yeah, yeah,
And
he's
and and
crazy.
and related to that, when my, like, theory of when you've made it as a creator is
Yeah,
when people can make videos about you and make money from them without, like, you, like, coming on their podcast or whatever. Like, they just
yeah,
make a video, like, talking about you, and then, they wanna do that. I think
yeah.
that's when you've actually made it.
Totally. I love that. That's a really cool I like that. I'm gonna file that away. Would you say for you, would Elon be your number one guest? I would imagine, right? For
I mean, yeah, it would just have to be
gotta be.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, that would do numbers. So that'd be great.
Be
Uh,
epic, man. I think you can do it. I mean, you have everyday astronaut hanging out at the launch pad,
yeah, I
talking
mean,
to
I'm
Elon.
I'm friends with Everyday Astronaut. Like, I was
Mhm.
down with him at SpaceX Boca Chica. Like, we were hanging out. So, but the thing is, like, I have to work really hard to actually make that kind of stuff happen. I have to.
I would be surprised if you don't get the Elon interview at some point. I
That's
mean, I think it's in his best interest. So
mhm. That's the thing. It's like I think, and this has kind of been my mentality lately, or like my thought is that every problem that I have is mental or internal. It's like it like if it's a problem that I never get an Elon interview, it's purely because of me. It's nothing external because everything that I've done externally points towards that Elon thing. And so that's actually it's- I don't know, it's like comforting, but it's also like a lot to be like, fuck, it's all in my mental. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's all
I
internal.
think it'll happen, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
not
just
worried.
gotta push, and I what I really need is I need to build a team to, like,
Yeah,
help me make this better and, like, get a studio and fly people out and stuff like that. But,
do it.
once I make some money and stuff, then I will.
Yo, what's up, everyone? I hope you guys enjoyed that clip. I have more clips on the channel, and the full podcast is linked in the description. And I got some more cool interviews coming soon. So I'll see you guys in the future. Peace.